proceed. Where's my gavel? Yeah, let's start. Do you mind?
Kadu,
Here.
Kuvalair is absent. DeTrapani,
Here.
Gronville,
Here.
Myers,
Here.
Rivera Scheib,
Here.
and Chair Doss.
Here. We have approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay. Approval. Do we have approval of the minutes of May 4th, 2026?
It's been too long ago to remember if it's right or not.
I think it is. I think it's right.
So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have all approval? I'll say yay.
Yay.
Yay. All nay? Any nays? No nays? Approved. Okay, financial reports. Brady, do we have anything that we need to be concerned about per this report?
Nothing to note. One thing that we did plan for in this fiscal year was the whistle stop poured in place, right? So that was budgeted in here, but that's not occurring, of course, until the fiscal year that we're in. Actually, within the next couple weeks, as one of the general updates is, so that'll be reflected in the next fiscal year.
Fantastic. Did anybody else see anything they want to discuss? Okey-doke. So, do we need to make an emotion, or we're just reviewing? We're just reviewing.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no motion that's needed.
Okay, moving on to boating infrastructure grant update. That was pretty interesting. Do you want to elaborate any more than the?
Yeah, so you've all had a chance to review and read the agenda report. But as noted in here, this project dates back to, I think, 2022 or 2023. Lots of roadblocks. So where it currently exists is the DDA had recommended to Village Council that they remove the portion of the project that's on your screens, which is where the former Dr. Rolf's restaurant was. It went to Village Council, and Village Council discussed at their last regular meeting, decided to table that until the DDA and Parks Board had a chance to review it a little bit further, make any final comments, and then really at the August meeting for Village Council is when they'll make a final decision.
Okay, Jerry, you had some questions regarding this, correct?
So these are the docks that were going to put out in front of Dr. Rolf's that would have come off the seawall there and jetted out? And the objection or the problems have been, it says the Michigan Department of Transportation, or they believe it's going to be a hindrance to boats going by, or do we know what the deal is?
Yeah, I think the original, the Eagle permitting process allows for a comment period for any adjacent property owners. And of course, MDOT has quite a few easements and property rights within that vicinity with the bridge going over the river. So one of the primary concerns that MDOT had, the first one, of course, which was no surprise, is the original proposal had the docks extending underneath the bridge, which MDOT pretty quickly said, yeah, that's not gonna work. So that's where you see a reduction in the length of the docks. The other one, though, is we are being required by MDOT to get a hydraulic study done. Even though these are floating docks, they are requiring a hydraulic study be done because there's concerns that the installation of these docks could impact the bridge and the structure.
Oh, great.
So those are the primary concerns that MDOT had. Of course, it was easy for us to reduce the length of the dock, but the hydraulic study requirement is costly, and we don't know what the outcome will be as well.
Yeah.
And so there was other general discussion. I think that the DDA felt we do have an easement for the boardwalk, but there is the village does not own any public property in that area. So you can really come from Mill Point and kind of walk to this area, but there's no direct public land that is adjacent. So currently, I believe, the short answer is I don't know exactly. There's an ownership interest. So Dr. Rolfs had purchased it off land contract, and it reverted back to the original owners.
What about the zebra mussel problem that we had, or the mussel?
Yeah,
wasn't
so that has been resolved.
Oh, it has,
But
okay.
yeah, that's another one of the many challenges that were encountered.
And they weren't zebra mussels, they were actual, like, protected,
There was one protected.
right? Absolutely, okay.
Protected.
And, or in, yeah.
Like a freshwater mussel, not a zebra. Zebra were invasive. Correction. Okay,
And so any, additional questions,
I just have
comments,
one.
concerns? Yeah.
With no restaurant there, is
Yeah,
there
that's
really
what I was
that big
gonna
of a
say.
demand for it anyway?
No.
Was the restaurant really driving the demand?
Sometimes. I mean, we're boaters, we go by there all the time, and there were people there, especially when it was Old Boys. But I guess the question I have, it's not public land, but we're getting a grant for it. I'm questioning why. Is that correct? Like, we don't own it, but there was a grant obtained. So how does that affect the Spring Lake Village and Parks and Rec?
Yeah, so this was a DDA project that dates back again 2022, 2023. I think the idea was more from an economic standpoint of getting people to tie up, go either visit the restaurant that was there, whether that was Old Boys or Dr. Rolf's or any future restaurant. So I think that was the initial thought, but as we encountered challenges with this project, the DDA, I think, started to look at the cost and the benefit to the community versus the business that was or could be located there. So you'll see that by removing the project, it would save approximately $170,000 in our local match requirement. So the overall project is about 1.4 million, 338,000 of that was the required local match. The other challenging part with this is that is 2022, 2023 estimates, right?
Okay,
And so we are currently working through the bidding or the design process and Eagle permitting process still. And so it won't be out to bid until probably this winter. And you don't know the true cost until bids are opened and you have the bid tabulation.
I think from a council standpoint, the owners came in, and they obviously have a financial interest in it. And if it's a matter of them being a part of the project to pay for the hydraulic study and, you know, if they really want this to go, we're giving them a chance to
Sure.
kind of figure it out, right? I mean, their comment was when they bought this, they were not promised, but it was part of the plan to have those in front. And now trying to bring another business in, it's a big part of the selling.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And if I've walked down there about 2 weeks ago, they're bad. Like, there are tripping hazards everywhere. They're popping up. They're yucky. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm just wondering, like, I don't think it's a bad, my personal opinion is it's not bad for us to partner.
Well, right, if a restaurant goes in, but if a restaurant doesn't go in there, then I don't see the benefit of it
I think
myself.
eventually a restaurant will go in.
Eventually.
It's just a matter of time.
Well, even the Tiki Bar
Yeah.
and Holly Inn with Mud Penny.
Right,
You
they
know,
all-
that's kind of the closest public access would be right there. So I don't know. I think,
The question is, should the DDA support the full project? I think the DDA would certainly be receptive to a partnership if either the current owners or potential future owners wanted to cover the match, right, and get those docks for a good price, essentially. That could certainly be a conversation, but I think the DDA, a majority of the DDA felt that it is directly benefiting that property and not necessarily the village as a whole or the DDA as a whole.
Are you asking our opinion, or should we vote on this? Or is this just information?
It's just really information, and I can provide any feedback back to the village council. So no formal actions required, but if there's any general consensus or things that you'd like for me to communicate back to council when they go to decide.
Okay, so I would like to say, I mean, honestly, just so we have something on paper for council. I mean, it wouldn't be bad to do, could we just do like a yay, nay thing? How many yays and how many nays? Not necessarily a formal vote, but basically just so they get.
Well,
I
for me,
guess,
it's not
but
that, it's not that simple. It's a, if there is some kind of financial match, I'm interested in understanding that. You know what I mean? If there isn't, then, you know, table it for now, and if it comes back up later on, then,
Well, I like that idea, but I think let's make a motion. And can you put it in word form and somebody can second it if it's a consensus of the whole group? It's better to have a formal statement coming from Parks and Rec and stating the opinion.
well, I think Brady can just write our comments down. It doesn't take a motion to do that, right?
No, it doesn't, but it'd be nice to articulate so everybody understands we're on the same page. Nancy, you're kind of like, you don't think so?
Well, I didn't think so, but then when you're saying if these people want to sell it, and that was part of the deal where, you know, they're going to do that, and that would be something that they would want, you know, as a benefit, if you buy this or get this property, that is a benefit. And if they were expecting that, then I guess I'm kind of like, well,
That's an interesting point. So have we diminished the value? I mean, if this doesn't go through, is the value of that property diminished in terms of bringing a new restaurant in there?
I don't know, that's, yeah, I mean, that's just like, if I was gonna buy that property myself, I would be like, well, yeah, I want those docks in there so boaters can stop and they can come up and stuff, and that might be a determining factor to purchasing it. I don't know, we've never
Take
really
the
had
other
it.
side of that, though. Is that our responsibility?
Right. I'd
to-
say it's more an incentive rather than value,
Yeah.
per se. Nice, right, for them, but it's not a right for them to have it.
Yeah.
Correct. That's a good way to say it. It's nice for them, but it's not their right. Claire, any thoughts?
Well, I was just thinking, what if it doesn't sell as a restaurant?
I don't think that's our concern.
No, I know, but then, you know, we've made a motion here saying, you know, we're going to help them with this dock. What if it, you know, a condo goes up there?
But as Michael said, it's beneficial to the other side of the bridge because Mudpenny and Holiday Inns, and so it does benefit the DDA.
Oh, I
and the
guess they
community.
could, I forgot about that, they could go there and walk under the bridge
Absolutely.
and go
It's
there.
not but a
Okay,
hop.
I didn't even think about that till you just
A
said that
very quick
again.
walk, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
it's not even a block.
Okay, then I can see that.
And I think it's a benefit to residents. I mean, I'm not as worried about the business as I am you know,
Sure.
just going through there.
Now, would
it's
they
nice
have
to-
a Penny, would they?
Mudpenny?
Mudpenny, would they have some financial involvement in this?
That's, once again, that's not necessarily we're just supporting the project
Okay,
as beneficial to the village of Spring Lake. So having partnerships and engaging, that would be probably the owner's responsibility, not ours.
okay.
Well, and I mean, the big thing, the owners came to village council because they were concerned with the direction of removing the west end docks as part of the project. Again, the DDA's perspective was that there wasn't a big enough benefit to the DDA as a whole. It's more isolated to potential restaurant or other business that could go in there, as well as a Holiday Inn in the new restaurant in the Holiday Inn Mudpenny. And so I think if I'm hearing all the conversation, it would be and maybe I've got this wrong, but the general consensus would be to recommend that the DDA and Village Council remove the West End docks from the boating infrastructure grant unless there was additional partnership to cover the local match portion of the
Do you all
project.
agree with that?
That's well said.
Patricia, you're quiet. Do you have any thoughts? I think we can go forward with that, yes? Cool, thank you.
Now, can you remember what you just said?
Very eloquently.
Did you record it?
You made us sound very, very intelligent, thank you. Okay, doke. General updates,
Can I go back?
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
This voting infrastructure. Now, I'm just looking at this picture, and I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Is this Mill Point, were we going to do, maybe this should be new business, I don't know. Are we thinking of making more docks at Mill Point?
I think that's going into the general updates, correct? That
Well, so
portion.
Mill Point, that is the other piece of the boating infrastructure grant.
That is going forward.
What you see here are the current drawings for the improvements that would occur at Mill Point.
I took my kids down there fishing, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or anything like
Go
that.
for it, you've got the floor.
But the docks that we have right now aren't in the best of shape. There was a big old log in one of them. And I'm thinking, if we can't keep up what we already have, do we really need to add more? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. And I don't know much about all this stuff, but I just was down there, saw the condition of, things, and maybe I'm expecting too much, I don't know. But I just think if we're thinking of adding more, that's just more expense, more cost, more upkeep. I'd rather see us maintain what we have first before we go and do more. That's just my piece.
No, that's a great input, thank you for your input.
Okay.
Are we able to keep up with is the DPW keeping up with removing such logs and making it attractive for boaters? Because boating and logs do not work well together. What is the, not at all.
They were made aware, and it's in progress to have that taken care of and removed over at Mill Point specifically. We are consistently evaluating our operations and the workload and the amenities that we have in both the village and the township, because it's a shared DPW, right? So for the size of the village that we have, our park assets, we have a lot of park assets, I guess, for the size of the community we have, which is great, but with that comes a lot of maintenance and operational needs of making sure you're keeping up with that. So it's a consistent evaluation to make sure that we've got the resources to make sure that all those assets are well maintained. But specific to that, we are aware and are, that one, we do require a contractor to come and take it with how it's wedged and things of that nature. So we are at the timeline of a contractor and not necessarily Public Works going out there and taking
Because it was
care of
about a month ago when they were out here doing that, and it's just me, like, I see something, I go, oh, we gotta take care of this, it's not like, and I know, just in general life, trying to get someone to call you back is like a joke with anything.
Right.
So, I understand that it does take time, and I have to have patience.
Are we extending the docks out? That, I don't quite understand.
I think it's
Still
just,
point?
yeah,
It'll be
I
like the ones at,
I think that's just adding those there.
This
At,
looks like riprap.
I can't think of the name of it.
Tanglefoot?
Tanglefoot. It's like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can bring up the current overhead.
Floating docks, like the ones at,
So the ones that would go in, yes, are so really it would go on either side. So these would completely go away, and then it would be on both the east and west side of that platform.
And the one on the west side will not intrude on the launch?
Launch is farther down, I think.
Well,
I don't know, yeah, I
Just like
guess.
right here,
Yeah.
that's shallow on either side.
So it'll be in this area here.
Doesn't, my perspective maybe of that doesn't look like it's gonna interfere with the launch to me.
Do we have enough requests for more docks there?
I don't know. I would say generally, in the community that we live in, boating is in high demand, right? We see the lake and the river come alive in the summer, so is there any specific data to support that we need more? No, but just anecdotally, in the community that we live, I think there is a wait list for the docks at Tanglefoot every year, and so using that as a metric of more of a need, I think we could use. That's less anecdotal. And so I don't know what the breakdown would be for seasonal versus transient. But generally, I think they would be welcome, and getting more docks and more public access to the water is generally received in a positive way.
Any other discussion?
Voter anymore, so I don't have
Well, I am a boater still, and
Okay.
I think everything Brady just said makes a lot of sense. Anything that can bring more people to our community, especially people that are coming from other places, and always think of Grand Haven, and then a neat little surprise, and if we can get more people here, especially voters who maybe want some money to spend, and we can get them over here. I think it's good spend. I think it's well worth the investment. I think I'd say that if I sold my boat tomorrow, still.
Because you know the culture.
Yeah.
And I do too. I mean, there's always people looking for a space to put their boat, especially to go to eat. And the Village of Spring Lake has amazing places to eat. Like, we're really lucky, so I'm in favor of this as well. Okey-dokey, moving on. Do you have some general updates, Brady?
I do, and then there's a few more that aren't on this list that came in early last week. But so I mentioned earlier, the Whistle Stop Port and Play surface scheduled to begin sometime this week. So that will be good to see. We've actually received quite a few complaints this summer, and so it's always good to receive the complaints, but know that we are actively working to improve that area, because it did get pretty bad. And then the Tanglefoot shade sail, that has been installed. Please mark your calendars. The ribbon cutting ceremony is scheduled for September 27th at 2 p.m. And more information will come for that. Before I jump into some of the other updates that I have, of course, I am here, and that means that Peter's last day with the village was July 28th. So I'll be filling in this interim. If there are meetings that I'm unable to attend, Wally Delamater, who's a familiar face, might also come, and he's going to be picking up quite a few of the projects that Peter was working on related to parks, so we don't have any. And that's a good segue into the two other updates that Peter was working on that Wally will pick up is the Michigan Gas Utilities easement, which was, if you recall, they came and approached the village and requested a utility easement along Mill Point Park, really along the western border of the park. This has been an ongoing discussion for about a year. The village council's been very cautious in wanting to make sure that due diligence is done to ensure that any restoration or impact to the trees and the vegetation in that area are restored. And we wanted to make sure we really had a good grasp on just how different it would look after. And so we've done a tree assessment completed by our certified arborist, Lee Mueller. And then we are finalizing the easement language, and we anticipate that that will be on the village council agenda for consideration actually next week, Monday. And we've also worked with Stan Tech as well, who did some invasive species management at Mill Point, just to make sure that, again, the restoration is done properly with the easement. So we're gonna make sure that there's either escrow language or bond language within the easement to ensure that if they don't do it, we've got the recourse to come in later.
Is there money involved in this? They're giving, do
Yeah.
we know the dollar amount?
So that is still being negotiated, but the tree assessment alone was $16,675. And then I don't have the value off the top of my head for the easement itself. But that is
Pay
the
for that.
final. Yeah, so they have to pay for essentially the loss of trees, and then also for the utility easement itself.
Will those trees come out entirely, that whole row?
Not the whole row, but there are trees that will be removed. There was, I think, 2 or 3 larger trees that would be noticeable. A lot of the other trees, still, again, we're not minimizing the impact, but when we looked more specifically at the restoration or the removal, I think there's 2 or 3 larger trees, and then
Okay.
less impact, because they are gonna directional bore
When
underneath.
will this be voted upon at council?
So it would be discussed at the work session next Monday,
Okay.
the 10th, and then potentially voted on at the regular meeting in August, which
If
would
it
be the 17th.
benefits the village and the council goes that direction, I don't have an opinion either way, that's just my opinion. If they do go and they say yes, I would like a plan of communication with the public, because we're the tree board too. And so when a tree goes down, we have angry citizens coming in saying that we did it. So if council goes that direction and they think that this is benefit to all Spring Lakers, it would be nice for us to have a statement coming from Bathurst, coming from the council, to understand like the why and what it will impact, and if that tree goes down, how many trees will be replaced. It's something very articulated to our residents, because they will come here and they'll yell at us for doing it. And if we have no control, but we can control what's communicated. I'm not sure if it benefits the village of Spring Lake. I think that's something for council. That's Michael. What is your thoughts?
I think it benefits all the surrounding communities. It's
Infrastructure.
it's pretty important. It's a major gas line from what I can tell.
Yeah, so their existing gas line runs, I don't have the exact, but it runs further to the east. And some of that gas line, it's still active, and there are portions of it that are exposed in the
Which is
Grand
bad.
River.
That's pretty bad.
So there is a need, right? And so the village and this property they're in a spot where there's really no other good location, right? But the village council has taken this seriously, because we've been talking about it for a year, and have engaged with the necessary consultants to, again, repeating here, but do the due diligence to make sure that there will be an impact, but that it can be restored
And
to
honestly,
natural or better.
or better, yeah, that's kind of beautify the area, get rid of invasive species, beautify the area. We will lose a few trees. I think a couple of the trees are closer to M104, so we will hear about those. But yeah, that's why we have the new communications director, so, but yeah, it's a good point. Make sure we're well ahead of that.
Right.
We'll get complaints either way, but
I'm not worried about the complaints, as long as we have articulated
Yeah.
the plan, and then we have a response to the plan, because otherwise they'll be here, or they'll be in my front yard, in your front yard.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter if it's good for us. It is obviously, as if Michael, if you say it's good for all of us, then we listen to you, we listen to you, you're our leader. But let's just make sure that we're communicated properly. Do you have anything else?
While we're on the topic of this area, I'm actually going to hand out in email correspondence that I had, before I was on vacation last week and before I had left, I had a phone call with this individual, and he is sharing concerns with, I think it's cormorant. It's a bird that is.
I was gonna say, if the gas company doesn't take out the trees, the cormorants will.
Yeah, and so generally, you can review this after the meeting as well, but generally speaking, his concern and likely some of the other owners of the slips in that marina have identified and are requesting that the village consider taking a look at the impact that those birds are having.
Is it?
In the
It's,
area.
is where, I know exactly what they're talking about. I know exactly, because
where
it is, it's awful, and they
Call it
smell, it's bad.
The island of death.
Yeah, it smells horrible. Where is that little island? Is that, what jurisdiction is it? Is it City of Grand Haven, or is it Village of Spring Lake, or is it between? Because it's very odd. I mean, it's
Like the, if you zoom out, Brady, it's like
is
the
so
point.
so weird, it's scary, actually.
It's like some,
It looks like a horror movie, right?
I think it's right on, is it on the Eastman's
Grand
Island
Isle?
right there?
I think it's right there.
when we dinghy over to,
This
Right.
one,
come by Grand
I think it's
Isle on the back
Birds are
channel,
in
and
the
then we go
trees.
across.
yes.
Oh, my God, I got a picture of them. I couldn't
Oh,
believe,
no.
I'm like, what
Is this the
the
bird guy?
This one has got about 3 trees
The one that came in
that
to
are
be
just
Bird City
dead,
USA or whatever?
and it's
No.
all
Oh, it's
white
not?
underneath
Yeah.
from their
He's got, and,
excretions.
he's got a slip at Village Cove
Oh, okay.
Marina.
So what, Brady, to get us on track, what do we need to, I mean, honestly, if anybody's been over there, that you can see it's a problem, but what can we do? What should we do? What does
You should have an
what does
open-
Michigan State say we should do? I mean, there's rules and regulations regarding this type of bird.
They're taking those trees down?
Yeah, I would say if, what I typically like to do in these situations is look to the board, in this case, the Parks Board, to get, again, a general consensus of us wanting to take any next steps, right? Capacity is always limited, but if this board wants us to look into next steps or what we should do,
I think,
then we take those steps. I think it would be communicating with any potential partners that could also have either regulatory or other input for how this gets managed. So likely a call to the MDNR, an
That's what I was
email
gonna say.
to the
I'm sure they're well
MDNR.
aware of it
Yeah.
already, so.
And so we'd likely start there. So it sounds like it's primarily on the islands, but I think their main concern too is they do probably nest in some of the trees along.
yeah.
Anything along the shore. They're behind our house too. We've got dead trees.
Noisy, too.
As I look at this, there's a couple things that stand out. The first thing is, in the fourth paragraph from the end, it says, "We fully recognize double-crested cormorants are a native species." I'm not
they're
100%
not
sure that's
native.
true. I never saw one until
They're
about
not
15 years. We used to see them in Florida all the time, where there's a big problem, and not so much that they're killing trees and making a mess. It's the amount of fish that they're able to eat. I mean, it's apparently they can consume like 5 to 10 times their weight in fish every day. So it's decimating fish populations in places in Florida. So I certainly think that this guy's onto something. Whether he's right or wrong about native species isn't necessarily as big a concern. But having it not be a native species would give us more latitude to perhaps push the envelope on this as to what could be done.
Again, I think first step, contact the MDNR, see what their plan is. I'm sure, again, that, sure they're aware of it. And then I just let them know that it's affecting our community and see what
So we,
I think, that'd be your first step, and then you can go from there. There's documenting and all that, that's not really our little much for our village manager to handle by himself, but, I think it's just a simple
Get
call.
Dingy
to-
out there with a couple cameras. I'll bring the dinghy and a cooler and you with a camera. If you haven't
I got a
seen it.
picture right here.
but I'm sure, certain the city of Grand Haven is having problems too. There's where one of the locations of those dead trees are, there's all the docks over on the other side of the Grand. They're all being affected by this. So I'm sure there's partnerships. So I think we all agree, move forward and
Yep.
see if you can partner.
Kudos to Mr. Russo for
Yep,
bringing this up.
very cool.
And then the last item I have is some good news. I know we've been aware of the trust fund grant, but we last Monday received the formal grant agreement
And
for that. So this is the project that was approved from last funding cycle. And so that's a $400,000 grant. The local match is $600,000. And so really the action item today would be to recommend village council approve the trust fund development project agreement and move forward with all the other administrative steps that are required to move forward.
a motion?
Yes.
I need a motion.
Whatever he said.
So if you
Yeah.
just say still moved, then
So
we would.
moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moved.
And then just other updates on North Bank. We did have our essentially 90% page turn, so design is nearing completion. One of the main challenges that came up as we finalized that is we have this grant application that we were just talking about, which is for the pavilion. The Land and Water Conservation Fund grant that we'll be learning about here in the next month or two is for the bathroom. The challenge is the timing of these grants. They do need to be separate, and there's separate requirements, and it's gonna have to be bid out separately. And so as part of the design, the gas and the electric was going to be on what will be the new bathroom building, but the timing is such that the pavilion would likely get built first. So nothing to decide and determine here today, but just knowing that there's that challenge, right, of the timing. So we're not able to, if we get both grants, we will need to figure out administratively what makes the most sense. The grant agreement here allows us to go through September 24th, 2028. So we do have some room in this one. The Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, though, can also take probably even more time because it comes through the federal government, the funding does.
Tell me as soon as we know yay or nay regarding that grant.
Yes. Yep.
Soon as, because Peter's really good. As soon as he got it, he would send me an email, like,
Yep.
we got good news or bad news or whatever, just, so we all can be on the same page, because as soon as that extra grant is either yay or nay, that means we have to push forward in getting local donors, which is so much easier to get a local donor than federal or state, because we don't have to work with these timelines and these hoops, which is why I love private funding. But it's nice to have grants as well. But we had a meeting and we went through all pages with Tower Pinkster, and it was a 2-hour meeting. And now you're my liaison, right?
Yep.
Yes, until we find that replacement, but now we have to, I'm gonna ask for more help too, because we're taking close towards the shovels in the ground. So when I need some more help, we might have another privately event for donors like we did last year, because after we did a private event like that, we received $100,000 like that night.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
So a little bit of investment with a little bit of private donors, just a meet and greet works. So, very, very good. Is that all you have, or do you have more?
Nope, that is it.
Can we add, Jerry and I had a conversation with the baseball club or the Little Leaguers. Do you want to talk? We did it, what, a month ago? Was it
Yep.
beginning in June? Do you want to talk about it, Jerry?
Sure, we met at Village Baker, started there.
Yeah.
Got coffee, walked down. We were expecting that maybe it wasn't going to be friendly. I thought it was very friendly. They were not asking us to change our mind or to, completely back out on the thing. They just wanted to talk about the fact that baseball is growing again, and they have a pretty significant club that their children are in, as well as a number of other children, and they kind of wanted some thoughts on timing more than anything else, as well as other baseball fields in the area. And we talked a little bit about that Crockery is up and coming. All of the needs for that down the road, and that we would let them know how the progress was coming on the park, so they might actually get another season out of this. And I thought they were very professional and
Absolutely.
friendly to us.
The only thing you're missing is the fact that they were lovely, and it was it's really cool to break bread, have a cup of coffee, have a little, communication, and we physically walked to the park on purpose, and they understand, what it looks like, but they also understand if we did put that project and made the fields like they were at Heritage Schmidt, we'd have to charge something they don't want to pay either. So they totally understand, and they were lovely. It was,
They were, and they understand we had a comment period. So
Yeah.
It's not like this decision was made in a vacuum without speaking.
and partnership-wise, and so what we did say is that, we had a conversation with Tower Pinkster regarding this when Peter and Brady and the whole team over the tower, they would like to have, how when construction companies come and tear everything out and throw it out, they really want the items that we think that we don't need, for instance, like the bleachers and the fencing and things that are in the park, they want it. And which is lovely, because they're a park that if we were gonna discard it, they would rather have it. So I didn't have a problem, Peter and Brady didn't have a problem with that. I just made sure that we had a conversation, and Jerry and I said, when you have a conversation at a table like this, or at the Village Baker, and it's not on paper, which is why I'm glad that this is all verbalized, is that a construction company will come in and they'll just tear things out and throw it out without any kind of thought, because nobody told them. So we just have to be very adamant about what they want and what is being tossed. Likewise, Peter indicated that the sign that's out there too, he would like to hold that sign and take that sign to the family that is it Langland Field?
Langland Field, yep.
Yeah, so he wants to take that sign and give it to that family, because it's meaningful for a family that he grew up with, which
Oh, that's,
I don't think, as Parks and Rec, if you guys have anything opposed to any of this,
Who's the family?
is it Langland? Is it
Langland.
Langland.
It
Langland.
was-
Oh, okay.
yep.
The family,
Yeah,
because the
that's
whole sign's out
correct,
there, and
yes.
it's like an old-timey 1970s sign, which somebody has a barn and they want to put it in.
so you're not saying that we're gonna do away with the ball fields, like, a lot of people were complaining, well, we don't need a sledding hill, why are you taking away the baseball fields? And so that hasn't been decided yet.
Yes, it has.
Has been
Okay,
decided.
we are gonna do the sledding hill.
We have to, we've already gone forward.
Yeah,
There's nothing we can do, but what we did was we bridged the conversation, and we articulated the fact that people were talking, I'll just use me, talking behind my back, saying I'm a bad human because we're doing this, which we didn't, because
Yeah.
I don't read informed. But basically, people were very angry and talking about a lot of misconceptions, like, for instance, why are they changing the name of the park? Well, the park was renamed in 2016. And it's because it's adjacent to the North Bank Trail. That's why it's North Bank. We didn't change it for willy-nilly. That happened years ago. But when people are mad and something's taken away, then they start thinking about,
What else?
well, they're not thinking, and they're just arguing and mad. And once again, when you break bread with somebody and have a conversation and say we're on the same team, we love the village of Spring Lake and we're residents, and they're very passionate about Little League. So it was really good. I really strongly encourage, if we ever have a problem like this again with other groups, it's best to just have conversation and just put everything on the table. I think it was very good. Yep.
Yeah, and it comes down to timing. As we get this out to bid, you select a contractor, we can get more precise with the actual construction timeline. And so that's what was communicated, is we'll keep in touch with them, we will communicate, we will work with the contractor as we get closer to being more specific with what that looks like next spring, summer.
Actually, yeah. So, and but we know government runs slow. I mean, the shades just got put up like 2 weeks ago. So most likely they'll have another season, so.
Well, the challenge is where we're getting the dirt for the hill, right?
Yeah, that is one challenge. So we are able to use the material from next year's infrastructure project for the base of the sledding hill. We'll still need to bring in quite a bit of topsoil and to finish it, but it at least gets quite a bit. And so, again, there's considerations there and the timing, but that project won't start until school gets let out. So the contract will be for after June at some point, or early June would be the earliest it would start. And I believe their season is wrapping up
Yeah.
around that time. They
They
may
went in
extend a
spring.
little bit.
It's
in-
done.
It's
It's
mostly spring, but
Yeah.
around June, it's starting to wrap up. So that would work. It just depends on how quickly the contractor would be ready to begin the work on the pavilion. But that area is also isolated to some degree, where there's one field that we probably wouldn't touch at all, which is the baseball field. The softball field likely is the one that would be removed first. But all of those details will be more evident as we get a little bit closer.
Very good. Any more general updates? Okay, moving on to tree updates, tree board. We have none from Wally.
Yep,
Okay.
no
Are they still cutting
updates.
trees down or not? Are they done?
So typically, every year, we put out a contract towards the end of summer and to fall and winter. So a tree removal and tree pruning program. So this is all based off of an analysis that's done by Davy Tree in the Certified Arborist. Usually, I think Kyle would know more, but we usually break it out from the north, M104 to the north and M104 to the south. A couple years ago, we had a substantial contract. Last year's was a little bit smaller, but it just depends on the need. And with those contracts, there's always some removals, but also just some pruning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, public comment. There's nobody here. So do I have any board member comments?
When I first came in and we were talking about the e-bikes and that kind of thing, would that, Beth from Communications, would she be one that we would talk to about? I guess the village or the township doesn't allow those on the bike trail?
So Brady, we had a conversation about this, and Michael, I'm looking at you because I'm sure you guys know what Grand Haven did. They already went. Is council ready to talk about this because it's going to get dangerous? It's getting dangerous on our
I think
paths.
the first approach, we're going to try this be kind or
Culture of kindness. So
kindness.
the township took the lead. So the person is to talk to would be Beth and or Lucas Hill at the township. Right now, it is primarily a township initiative. I think Village Council is very receptive to supporting that and being a part of the conversation, because we have the Lakeside Trail that runs through the heart of the village, of course. But so Village Council is aware. Beth and Lucas came to a work session and let them know what the township is doing, and more to come. And I think Village Council is ready to be a part of that and have a conversation around trail etiquette,
I went to that
et cetera.
thing. It was nice. They had gave out stickers and they were right by the trail and people were there, hi to everybody who was coming by, and they stopped and they talked and gave out some free stuff. And I think that's good, but I didn't know if you have concerns, who would you contact? So if Beth's going to be kind of,
Yeah, Beth or Lucas would be
Okay.
the good points of contact.
okay, but at least they're working on it, so that's good.
Eventually, we're going to have to make us. I mean, it's getting bad. I run on the
Yeah,
trail.
I'm a fan of trying to fix culture first rather than do ordinances and
No, I
then
agree.
we have to enforce them, and then who's gonna enforce them, how, it becomes a whole
I know.
thing. So ideally, we can have parents and kids understand, like, just don't be an idiot, right? Like, just have common sense and just good manners. So start there and, because it's, I mean, it's more that than anything. It's not the bike's fault, right? It's not, that's not the issue. It's the people riding the bikes that are
Right,
the issue. So, and then you start taking away from people that would like a leisurely ride, that would like to have an e-bike, you know, that can't normally get out and ride a bike. So it becomes just a whole, becomes a bigger deal once you start trying to put ordinances to it.
Just let us know if the council's going direction. We like to hear it first here, so we can help you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, you know, it's mostly, I have a 13, almost 14-year-old boys. That culture is just, and it's our fault because we're not telling them no. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
I thought there was one time that we spoke about the mileage, how fast they can go.
Yeah.
But how are you going to, like Michael
Again,
said, you
who's-
can't
Well, I
enforce
know,
it.
but, I mean, if you put that out in a notice, you can't go more than 5 miles an hour or something. You know, we
Yeah.
talked about it because our friends have bikes, and they too said that it's, you know, you gotta be judged by mileage, how fast you're going. And should have a ringy-dingy on it.
Right. Well, that's the other problem, is the bike, it's not that easy to just ask somebody, how fast is your bike go? You know, there's no way to just, it doesn't say on it, like, you know, this goes 35 miles an hour, you know.
Unless they put their phone in the speedometer thing and then they know. But the kiddos just.
Yeah, they're, he's gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh my.
We're just
I
at a
can go
weird,
28
we're in a
miles
weird
an
point
hour.
right now where it's, I think we'll get there.
It's,
And then we've got to include the scooters too.
Right.
right, absolutely, because they go just as fast.
They
So,
just, I
Well,
mean,
what-
they,
Or helmets too, I mean, kids.
well, you
need to
can't
be-
tell
I
somebody
know.
to wear.
Yeah, I
There's so
just-
much
I just
government.
wish
we-
that was like a
I love
law.
it, you guys, but we cannot implement this. The
I
parents
know.
have to. They just,
know.
or you can't regulate that. I agree, Michael. So whenever you guys have a conversation about it, because I think what Mackinac Island allowed it, and then they took it away because somebody
yeah,
died.
they did.
So when, I just would hate it for my kid or one of my other, my kid's friends, like I've seen some bad stuff too, but we can't enforce it.
No, I know.
But we see my kid without a helmet, you tell me.
Right. Again, ideally, it starts in the home, right?
It does, it really,
Ideally,
really
it starts
does.
there, and then rather bottom up than top down.
I swear. Okay. I'm sure both this will come back eventually. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
No, because I have something, I remember we talked about using fire to put out some of these islands with the invasive species on them. Where has that gotten to?
Yeah, we dropped that due to timing and lack of capacity. So we had talked about that. Part of it too was the DDA was gonna to help fund, but they weren't too open to really pursuing some of their funds to do that. So we dropped that.
Oh, well, 50 years ago, the firemen took care of that. They burned every island here, and we had beautiful grass coming up afterwards. I mean, it works.
Yeah, so it's something we didn't do last year, again, because of capacity. The Stantec, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Stantec either, but they had the contract for the last 3 years to manage the invasive species. I think that is done this year, or they've done their last few applications, so something to consider in the future.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? I'll say aye.
I,
The other thing, it's not,
Not yet.
the little pink building down there,
That's off our agenda.